The Maltese driver. Speaking of South Africa, that was Jason Coetzee. Lautaro Pinheiro. Geraldo Meyerwolf from Mexico. That's the car of Fabrizio Boldoni. Had a little bit of bad luck, but was super quick in the heats. Kyle Henry Smith, all the way from down under. Great to have Kyle here racing the Rock Cup International Final. Arturo Yatsunza from Mexico. Paul Verbunen. You just got a glimpse there of Alessio Scanella. Jiri Nemecek. That is Lasse Kolshoy from Denmark, racing the Rock Cup Denmark Series. Ulisses Cepeda from Argentina. The Argentines, also from South America, have had a lot of success in the Rock Cup over the years. The 3-1-1 cart, that is Daniele Galbiati, the Italian, who will start this one out of grid number 16 alongside Gianluca Dingley. 300, Peter Bielefeld from Denmark. Already had one Danish win here this afternoon. Tobias Nyberg from Norway. Then we go to the sharp end of the grid. Matteo Chiari, the Italian. There is Matteo, 306. The Flowers Racing entry. One row behind Simone Mazzotti, 318. Alessandro Brigatti starts in front of him. That's Alessandro in 304, and on the front row of the grid, all the way from the land down under, the national champion back in Australia, Scotty Sorensen. He means business here this afternoon. The 329 cart to start this one on the front row of the grid. The outside of the front row alongside Mattia Diabramo. So the driver from Milan in Italy alongside the driver from the Gold Coast in Australia, Scotty Sorensen and Mattia Diabramo. The green flag flies. We are ready for the first of our championship finals here this afternoon. This over 20 laps of this 1.2 kilometre South Garda karting circuit. Bit of a problem there for Matteo Chiari, getting that DVS Vortex Rock engine fired up. But he does so and rejoins the pack. Matteo to start this one. Out of grid number 8 alongside Samuel Weibel. There is the grid. Sorensen, Diabramo on pole. Brigatti, Russo, Mazzotti, Sebastian Boyd, Matteo Chiari, Samuel Weibel, Nyberg, Galliano, the fastest qualifier in time practice. On Wednesday evening, let's correct myself there, or was it Thursday evening? It is Saturday afternoon here in Italy. One day rolls into another. The racing has been superb. Before we got to this point, we had 54 heats. We had time qualifying, 54 heats, the last of which were held this morning. We just had our 3 trophy races, and now we're ready to award the first of our championship finals this afternoon. Super Rock for the spectacular Vortex Rock DVS engine, front wheel, hand-operated brakes. Mattia Diabramo, the Italian alongside the Australian. Scotty Sorensen to the left of your screen from Queensland. There has never been an Australian driver win the Vortex Rock International Final. History may write itself this afternoon. Mattia Diabramo, his sister Alessio, watching on live from her home in Las Vegas, Nevada, to see if her brother can win the race here this afternoon. He had a very forgettable event last year, didn't even finish the final, but wow, Mattia Diabramo means business here this afternoon. We come up to the start where we go green. The field looks scattered. We go around one more time. That was predictable. They were like a herd of goats or a herd of sheep coming up onto the straight. A race director, Mr. Alessandro Ferrari, sends them around one more time. There's the Diabramo. Just getting back to his 2016 effort, and it was absolutely forgettable for the Italian from Milan. A couple of technical failures, a couple of crashes. He didn't even finish the final in 2017. So far, he has been superb. He starts this one on pole position, but it will count for 0 unless he can put it all together over the following 20 laps. This is the Super Rock final here at South Garda Karting. A beautiful day here in northern Italy, 24 degrees. The sun is shining. The track is gripped up with Bridgestone rubber, and we are ready to race, ready to decide our first international champion for 2017. Sorensen looks down at the carburetor on that DVS engine. Doesn't want too much fuel flowing into it as they come up to the start. Diabramo, Sorensen, the front row of the grid. The Italian, the Australian. Watch the Italians on the second row. Russo, Brigatti, Boyd from South Africa. That's Sebastian in 303. Here we go, the Super Rock final. I speak too soon because we go round one more time. Another formation lap. Again, we have no start. These guys anxious to get on with it. We are down to 31 starters. We should make mention, unfortunately, Gerardo Obregon, Lucas Muth, and Jono, that's Jaden North, won't make the start. Bad luck in particular for Jordan, who has had to retire hurt this weekend with broken ribs. Not the first driver to be afflicted with that injury in 2017. So we've got 31 of our original 34 starters. The field slower down. Sorensen works the wheel. Breathing down his neck is Brigatti. The white helmet, 304 on the second row of the grid to the left of your screen. 327 is Vittorio Russo. Christian Boucher from Mozambique, that was him. In 302 goes through. Great to have the driver from Southern Africa. Mozambique, Christian on the 12th row of the grid alongside Fabrizio Baldoni. We will try again for the third time. This time the field looked better. The smoke rises, the field pour through the final corner. Watch the acceleration from these Vortex Rock DVS engines, the Super Rock final for 2017, and we go green. Diabramo races down into the first corner. Sorensen has been slaughtered off the start. The Australian is back into fourth, make that fifth. Russo up into second spot. Brigatti also did get a good start. He's back into fourth. Sorensen now back to fifth, possibly even sixth. That's the race leader from pole. Matti Diabramo comes down the hill for the first time. We listen to the Vortex Rock DVS engines roar. Sebastian Boyd it is, who's made a great start. The South African up into P3. Brigatti, Mazzotti, Semil Weibel. Matti Diabramo will lead. Sorensen is back into, let's see, fifth place. Clean starter, move down the inside by, let's see, that might have been Galliano. Side by side, check it for you. It was actually Matteo Chiari who got a run coming on through this race. So the order is Diabramo, Russo, Sebastian Boyd, the South African from Brigatti. Sorensen runs P5 after starting in second. Brigatti slides down the inside of the South African. There goes the Italian. In fact, the Italian drivers now run 1, 2, and 3 here on the second lap of the Super Rock final for 2017. Down the inside, Boyd retakes third place from Brigatti. Needed to respond, and he did just that. Diabramo, Russo running 1 and 2. Starting to build up a gap because behind them they are fighting and losing touch with the leaders. Boyd will come across the line from Russo. Sorensen back in P6 now behind Stefano Mazzotti. The Italian in 318 has made a great start to be up into fifth. And Samuel Weibel, Galliano, Chiari is ninth. Fabian Lenz makes it 2 South Africans in the top 10. So Diabramo settles the field down. Starts to pull away, drags along Vittorio Russo along for the ride. The Italians 1 and 2. Boyd works his way back into position number 3. There is the South African driver. Sorensen has also recovered one spot. Brigatti, after that sensational start, the Italian back in 7th spot. There is Alessandro coming on through the straight. So Mazzotti into 4th ahead of Sorensen. Boyd in 3rd spot now. The South African trying to break the Italian dominance here this afternoon at South Garda Karting. Diabramo from pole position has made a great start. The kart looked a little bit nervous on the opening lap or two. A little bit of sideways action from Mattia, the driver from Milan. Throws it into the turn 5-6 chicane. But the kart just bolts out of the corner. Tremendous traction. Hard on the front wheel disc brakes as they go into the hairpin. Russo going with him. They go past the stranded kart of Jiri Nemecek from the Czech Republic. Jiri, unfortunately, the first retirement here this afternoon. One kart out in the grass further back also as Galliano hits the fastest lap of the race. Gets past Samuel Weibel. Problem also for Gianluca Dingley, the driver from Malta. Just comes across the line now, back in position number 26 after coming together with Casanisi. So we go back to the front. This is Diabramo, Rosso, Boyd, Mazzotti, Brigatti, Galliano, Weibel, Chiari. Sorensen's had a disastrous opening run. The Australian back into P9, one ahead of the driver also from the former British Commonwealth. Oh, I think it's still current. That's Fabian Lenz. The South African running in P10. Bielefeld's got past Nicolas Varoni, the Argentine, in 12th. Nide, Galbiati, Marcucci, Cotzia, P16. Jason did start a long way back on the grid. Jason now into P6 ahead of Boldoni, Piero and Cepeda, the 2 Argentines. We've got 3 Argentines, the best of which is Nicolas Varone, who's running in P11. As you watch Sebastian Boyd, the South African on screen, leading Stefano Mazzotti. There is the race leader, Mattia Diabramo. We pass quarter race distance. They go past the abandoned kart of the Czech driver, Jiri Nemecek. Russo in 2nd spot. We wait for the rest of the field to form through. There's the fight for the bottom step of the podium, currently being held by the driver from South Africa, Sebastian Boyd. 3:03. Diabramo breaks in a very straight line down into the pit hairpin. Up over this very slight rise, which doesn't look much on your TV screen, but driving around this circuit, the drivers certainly feel it. The roller coaster effect as they go down into the turn 5-6 chicane. There is Russo. In 2nd spot, the gap out to 0.5 of a second. The fastest driver on the track is Alessandro Brigatti, who made that sensational start. Was briefly up into 4th. He's now in 6th behind Giuseppe Galliano. The fastest qualifier. Started this one out of grid number 9. Galliano from Genova. Just going through now. One step off the podium. There's the Italian. Head of the Swiss driver, Samuel Weibel. Down the inside goes Brigatti. The 304 car picks off Mazzotti. The Italians trade positions. Brigatti was the fastest driver on the track last time round. Picks up another position. Brigatti now runs P5, that's Mazzotti. The plain white helmet sits a long way back in that kart, moves around a lot. The G-force is immense here from these DBS Vortex Super Rock engines. Hand-operated front-wheel disc brakes like we did have once upon a time in the CRK OK World Championship category. The front right Bridgestone tyre of Diabramo actually getting airborne. He's now got 0.7 of a second over Vittorio Russo. Will he look behind? No need to. He will not even be able to hear the engine of Russo. He's pulled out a gap on circuit of a good 30 or 40 metres. There's Russo. Boyd still holds down P3 sideways from Galliano. Spectacular. There's Sorensen going through. Back in P10 now. Has been passed. by the driver from South Africa, Fabian Lenz, up into P9, Baroni, the Argentine, still in P11. Galbiati, Nieberg, Boldoni, Bielefeld, Martucci, Concia, back in 17th. Still the Argentines, Pinheiro and Cepeda run 18th and 19th. And Carl Schoy rounds out the 21 spot ahead of the other Australian, that's Kyle Henry Smith. Boyd in P3, still on the podium. We saw the left leg of Diabramo, the race leader, drop quite significantly as he pushes the left brake pedal through the floor and also applies a little bit of hand operated front brake at the same time. Mazzotti again slides sideways into the turn 5 chicane. Chiari, Lenz, Sorensen, Galbiati go through as well. We're coming up to half race distance, the Super Rock Final for 2017. Boyd being pressured enormously. The battle for third place is raging here at South Karting. Galliano, the fastest qualifier on the back of the South African. Diabramo continues to lead. Diabramo out front. Russo in second spot. That is third place. Boyd has to go defensive. From Galliano, Brigatti coming up to complete the 11th lap. No surprise to see Galliano has set the fastest lap of the race. He's in fourth and all over the back of the South African Sebastian Boyd. They come onto the straight now in the slipstream at 127 kilometres an hour here at South Karting. The battle for third place is raging here in Italy. The South African holds off the Italian. The fastest qualifier, Giuseppe Galliano. Will he make a move? He needs to make a move. He's off the podium as it stands. Boyd under enormous pressure, the South Africa in 3:03. Leads the 3:10 of the driver from Genova. Behind is Brigatti in P5. Diabramo continues to lead. He's got the gap out to 1 second over Vittorio Russo, and we've still got 8 laps remaining. Mattia Diabramo, Russo, we wait. And it's still, albeit only just, Boyd. Mechanical defect flag goes out for the 316 start of Martucci. He will retire from this one. Back to the battle for third place. Galliano, the fastest driver on the track, but Sebastian Boyd, the South African, absolutely superb. They can't find a way through. Brigatti, Mazzotti, Chiari, the Italians 5, 6 and 7, closing in on the back of Sebastian Boyd, the South African, withstanding enormous pressure here at South Karting. Again, a very definite left brake movement, a left foot movement I should say, as Mattia Diabramo depresses that brake pedal and applies hand-operated front wheel discs at the same time into the final hairpin coming onto the straight. Flat out down through turn number 1, this spectacular curve here at South Karting. The battle for third, Galliano, fastest driver on the track, cannot get past the South African. If you've ever watched the Springboks play rugby, you will know the South Africans are as tough as nails. And Galliano is finding that out right now. He's hounding the back of him. Boyd sideways into the chicane. Spectacular from Sebastian, but it's cost him a little bit of time. And he knew it because on the exit he looked behind him to see, where are you, Giuseppe? I need to defend. Meanwhile, Mattia Diabramo is walking away with this one. The gap now out to 1.2 seconds. Vittorio Russo runs in P2. Fastest lap now for the race leader. They throw it down into turn number 1 and 2. Galliano, the fastest qualifier on Thursday night. Sits in fourth place, 1 step off the podium. He's stubborn. He's enormously strong South African Sebastian Boyd will not let the Italians through. Behind Galliano, we have Brigatti, Mazzotti, Chiari, then the Swiss Bible. Sorensen in 9 has got past Fabian Lenz, the second South African inside the top 10. Coming up to three-quarter race distance now. Mattia Diabramo. in second place, 1.4 seconds back. As Mattia Diabramo throws down a 48 dead, 48.08 for the race leader. Said, come and get me, boys and girls. The driver from Milan wants to win this after an absolutely forgettable event here 12 months ago. This is lap number 16 of 20. They have completed 15. Russo, Boyd still holds off third. They throw it into the chicane. There's Brigatti, Mazzotti, Chiari, Weibel, Sorensen, Lanz, Galbiati, Baldoni. Still the Norwegian Nyberg. In that battle also, outside the top 10, Baroni, the Argentine, Bielefeld, Pinheiro, Cepeda, Coetzee, Calcio, and Kyle Henry Smith rounds out the top 20. Mattia Diabramo from Milan in Italy. His sister Alessia from her home in Las Vegas, USA, watching her brother. Only 3 laps away from winning this one here this afternoon. Mattia Diabramo now 1.5 seconds ahead of Russo. And Galliano has finally got past the South African Boyd. The pressure got all too much. Can Sebastian respond? He's back in P4, finally. It took him 15 laps, but Sebastian Boyd is now off the podium. The Italians run 1, 2, and 3. On your screen, you're watching us live on rockcup.com. Here from South Garda Karting in Italy. Giuseppe Galliano, fastest qualifier, had a messy run through the heats despite the tremendous speed. Started his final out of grid number 9, waited till lap number 16. Sebastian Boyd, the tough South African, withstood the pressure for 3/4 of the race and now finds himself off the podium. Can he respond? Sebastian over the back of Giuseppe. There is the race leader. Surely Mattia Diabramo will take victory here this afternoon in 2 laps time. Comes onto the straight, winds it up. Well over 120 k's an hour here at this legendary circuit built way back in 1988. Diabramo, Russo, Galliano up onto the podium, and he's put a little bit of daylight between himself and the South African. Sebastian has driven a superb race, but struggling to stay in touch. Can he do something spectacular and drag himself up onto the podium in the remaining lap and a half? The race leader, Mattia Diabramo, from pole position has been superb. He will come across the line this time round to get the last lap board. The 3:08 from pole position. 1.2 kilometers to go for the driver from Milan. Vittorio Russo in second place, 2.2 seconds further back. And Galliano has put 4/10 of a second over Sebastian Boyd, who's fought valiantly but will not finish on the podium, it would seem, this afternoon. The final lap of the Super Rock Final for 2017. Last year's winner, Riccardo Cinti, not defending his title, but we will see him in action shortly when he takes to the track in Shifter Rock. But there are just 3/4 to go for the driver from Milan. Mattia Diabramo has been superb from pole position. The Italian Mattia Diabramo will win the Super Rock Final for 2017. Russo in second place, and Galliano, the fastest qualifier from grid number 9, makes it an all-Italian podium. Commiserations and congratulations at the same time for Sebastian Boyd. Has driven a superb race. Comes home P4, splits the Italians. The only driver to do so. But there is your race winner. Mattia Diabramo, l'italiano, ha vinto qui in Italia. Una gara dimenticabile l'anno scorso, quest'anno ha vinto tutto quanto. The driver who had a forgettable race in 2016 has come back and dominated the 2017 Super Rock International Final. A huge congratulations to the driver from Milan. Mattia Diabramo is the 2017 Vortex Super Rock International Cup champion. There he is in Parc Fermé. He will be exhausted and ecstatic at the same time. There's the confirmation, Diabramo. Emotional scenes down here for the Diabramo family. As I mentioned, his sister Alessia watching on live from her home in Las Vegas, USA. Her brother has written his name into history here this afternoon. Mattia Diabramo, the champion of the Rock Cup final for 2017. Second place for Vittorio Russo. In the background of your screen, Giuseppe Galliano, the fastest qualifier from the city of Genova in northern Italy, finally got past the gutsy South African Sebastian Boyd to take the final step of the podium. Sebastian was P4, then Brigatti, good drive from him also. Mazzotti, Chiari was 7th, Samuel Weibel, the Swiss driver, in 8th. Fabian Lenz, the South African, the second of which inside the top 10. And Scotty Sorensen, despite starting on the front row of the grid, the Australian rounds out the 10. Mattia Diabramo has won the Vortex Rock Cup for Super Rock for 2017. The action will continue here in a moment, though, at South Garda Karting. You thought Super Rock was fast? Stand by. We change gear. Literally. Shifter Rock. The 6-speed road racing rocket ships make their way out onto the circuit. And we'll be ready to rock with the gearbox category in just a moment. The 2017 Vortex Rock Cup, the 15th edition of which, the international final here at South Garda Karting. The Shifter Rock final in just a moment. We'll try and make our way down to the grid. Xander, if you can hear me, we'll get down to you in just a moment.